once was a ship that put to sea. The name of the ship was the Bully of Tea. The wind blew up her bow, up down, oh below my bully boys blow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tongue in his hand, we'll take our leave and go.
Nice.
It only took 2 takes.
It only took 2 takes.
He had to grab his.
Nice job,
He
Dad.
had to grab his soda.
Had to
Woo! Alright.
Okay, so listen. We were going to spend some time this summer integrating Kaylee into the mask game and having her be a guest thing, but then a thing happened, and the thing that happened was we discovered a game called the Wildsea.
Sheesh.
What is the Wildsea? The Wildsea is what happens if you ride a chainsaw ship across an ocean of trees.
It doesn't have to be a chainsaw ship.
It doesn't have to be a chainsaw ship.
We
We'll talk more about that in a little bit later. Anyway, the idea is that this is an apocalypse, a post-apocalyptic setting where nature basically won.
Climate change if we got the worst end of the deal.
What if there was an apocalypse and it made stuff slightly better?
They went... climate change if the world went, fuck you, trees.
Yeah, pretty much.
And now they're sentient mushrooms.
So we have, yes. Now we have, so in the Wildsea, it's definitely a weird science fantasy sort of thing going on. There are regular people. There are regular people, but there are also things like
Said sentient mushrooms.
large cacti that are walking around like people, and living plant things, and
Squid people?
squid / jellyfish / slime mold using bones as their inner structure.
Everybody uses bones as their inner structure.
Well, okay, that's fair. Borrowed bones as their inner structure. There are
How do you know my bones aren't borrowed?
the ships that have got abandoned, gained sentience, and decided they wanted to keep doing stuff, so they basically made themselves into people.
What up?
There are 10,000 strong spider colonies that decided that they wanted to be people-shaped and worked out a constitution so that they could all work together.
Also, they stole somebody's skin.
Walking fungi. Walking less fungi.
Mothman?
Moth people.
Me. Hello.
So we have a lot of...
And just regular old Joes.
And then regular old
Because
Joes.
you're boring.
Joe is the single most boring name to ever be conceived.
So we're going to... what we're going to do, we've decided that we're going to do the Wildsea. We're going to make ourselves a little ship's crew. And we're going to be out here on the Wildsea
With the crab.
God, we did.
doing stuff. I know, but we're going to introduce things. And in the process of doing that, we are going to... we're going to introduce some characters here and talk about the nonsense that we are working with. Okay, so let's talk about our characters. Kaylee is playing what they call an ardent, which is what they call people. While we're doing that, I'm going to put your character sheet in here. So tell me about your character. Your character's name is
Petrichor, otherwise known as Corey by her close good friends.
Us.
So every character is made up of 3 sort of big attributes. They're you recognize them in other role-playing games. The bloodline is sort of like what species they are. Origin is where they grew up or how they grew up. And their post is their post on the ship or sort of the job that they do. Your bloodline is ardent, which is what they call people.
Yeah, pretty much people who did not evolve weird, just the very...
They got tougher.
Yeah, they did get tougher, but they're the most human shaped of everyone who is around.
Not friend shaped necessarily, but human shaped.
I'm friend shaped.
Rock
Corey is
hard
friend shaped.
Corey is French.
Corey is very friend shaped.
Rock hard
Almost to a
after.
fault, one might say.
Yeah.
Rock hard
The
out.
crabs.
All right. In addition to your bloodline, origin, and post, you also have 3 edges. What are your 3 edges for me?
My 3 edges are grace, instinct, and tides.
Tides. Now, each one of these basically are the way that you approach the world. If you approach the world this way, it gives you a bonus, an extra dice to roll. Grace is kind of what it sounds like. Instinct is kind of acting on instinct. Tides is weird. We'll get to tides later.
Instinctually
Oh,
graceful.
did we go through the origin and the post? because you.
The origin is okay. Sorry, we did.
My origin is rootless, which basically means that Corey grew up on the ships.
Yeah.
All the time. Grew up ships, living on
She loves
the sea, if you will. And then her post is Horizoneer. She is God. How do you describe a Horizoneer?
Somewhere between a professional traveler. If you wanted to go bard with it, you could absolutely go
I
bard.
feel like it is very Bard-esque.
A performer, a declaimer, a speaker, a traveler, an inspirer,
A Slayer.
potentially.
Just a boss bitch, just
That's-
like all around.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll have to cut that out if we want to keep monetization.
Anyway,
It's past the first 30 seconds.
so let's talk about your skills really quick. There's a bunch of skills. This the game is built on Blades in the Dark. So Blades is again you have a certain number of skills. The skills are rated from either nothing up to as much as 3. And unlike generally unlike Blades, one of the big important things about Wildsea is it isn't just about your skills, it's also about your languages. Because languages matter a lot in this game. There's a lot of them, and your ability to speak them is pretty cool and pretty helpful. But let's just talk about your skills real quick. Do you have anything in Brace?
No.
Do you have anything in Break?
No.
Do you have anything in Concoct?
No.
Do you have anything in Cook?
Nah.
Do you have anything in Delve?
No.
How about Flourish?
2.
Yeah.
Finally, we get to a skill I can actually have.
How about Hack?
Nah.
How about Harvest?
1 in Harvest.
Oh, nice. How about Hunt?
No Hunt.
How about Outwit?
1 in Outwit.
Nice. How about Rattle?
1.
That's like a repair or jury rig type of. You have 1 in Rattle. Okay.
Yes.
Scavenge?
Zero.
Sense.
1.
Study?
1.
Sway.
I was gonna switch to my next finger, and then I realized what that would do to you.
Study, and then
Sway is 2.
very nice.
Tend is 1. Vault is 1, and I do not have anything in Wave Walk.
Wave Walk, which is
Trees.
traveling across the treetops, but without a ship, which is
I'm uncomfortable with that.
what other people might call le suicide.
Insane.
Except for, Zoe.
I don't
And
have
me.
anything in
No,
Bangkok.
no, Sean is the Wave Walker.
Oh. I figured since Zoe was we'll get to that later.
So, you have a 3 in Low Sour as a language. What other languages do you speak?
I have a little bit of knowledge in Brass Tongue. I have 1 in that. Brass Tongue is the language of the traders. Rakaspit, which is the Leviathan hunters, I have 1 in.
Hang on, I'm gonna. So you had a 1 in Brass Tongue.
Yes.
Raka
Spit.
Spit.
Pretty much. Is the Leviathan hunters.
Yeah.
Old Hand, I have 1, so I can communicate with my dear brother, except not dear oh, stop, you're offensive. You are offending me.
We're both
Anyway,
better
carry
than
on.
you.
And 1 in signaling.
Which is literally what it sounds like, signaling other ships and stuff.
Because I am a ship, I also have. I'm giving spoilers. I'm sorry.
Okay. Spoiled by what?
Spoiling yourself, your own
Yeah.
character.
I'm not gonna. So talk to me about what aspects you have.
Okay, my aspects.
What's your first one?
Okay, these are for my race. So, based on the fact that I'm ardent, I have a ragged long coat, which is gear. It is a 3-track gear, and it means that I am resistant to keen, spike, and serrated damage.
They got the drip.
I gotta say,
It's a well-made jacket.
you said it was a 3-track?
It's a 3-track.
Awesome. I was kind of set back because it's a very narrative, story-driven game, and to have like something like 15 different types of damage types in this game struck me as being very wargamey. And then I started to see like what they were doing with it, and it was actually really cool. And I'm
Emotional damage.
totally into it now.
I wish there was a track for emotional damage.
There is not a current. Well, there
I
is.
mean,
It's
you
called
can't-
Myers.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah,
what do you got? No,
impressions.
no.
And then based on my origin, I have the Fleet family scarf, which is also. Oh wait, no, I go back. I went too far.
Yeah. What's after Reagan? Long Coat?
Grizzled Ratter, which is my little fox. It's a companion. His name is Neil, for anyone who is curious.
What a
shocker.
shocker!
Its track length is 3. And I can mark it to create a resource called Hunter's Offering, which pretty much means my fox brings me dead things sometimes. Meat for the hungry.
No, we don't do charity here, except we do.
Okay.
That's the one we do.
That's our entire job.
All right. What's some of your other aspects?
I have a Fleet family scarf from my origin, which is gear. It is 3-track, and
Fleet families are like the families of ship people, right?
And it means that I am immune to bad air and spores because I have a fancy, well-knit scarf.
I deal with the insects.
What's your track on that?
3.
Nice. Okay.
Most of my stuff is 3 or 4.
And the reason that we worry about this track is because aspects in this game are basically where you take most of your damage. You can take injuries, but they suck. So you tend to take the damage on the stuff that you have and the traits that you have and stuff, and then you can repair them, hopefully, later if they take some of the hits that you're taking. So Fleet Family scarf, not scart.
Fleet family Scott.
What's next?
I have a short spear.
Oh,
It is
right.
gear. It is 4-track, and it gives me close quarters spike damage because it is a spike. Because I did not have a weapon.
I had no idea.
All right. What do you get from being a Horizoneer?
I get a bait bandolier, which is gear. It is 4-track. I can treat conflicts as triumphs when trying to distract, divert, or drive off a wild sea creature. Which means I know whale song.
No.
Or I have whale's favorite.
No, you know how to make whales drunk.
food.
Treat conflicts as triumphs, which is
Triumphs.
basically treat a mixed success as a
Full success.
full success
When
when
trying to distract, divert, or drive off a wild sea creature.
Make whales drunk.
To kill them.
Make whales drunk. That sounds like a political campaign.
No, I
all
wish
right,
our
bandolier of
did
like
that.
animal booze. Nice.
Yeah,
All
pretty
right,
much.
catnip and whatnot. All right,
Yes, of course.
and
And I have hyper adaptive, which is a trait. It's 4-track, and I can mark it to learn a language I have no knowledge in, and it remains until I mark and quote unquote learn a new language. So I can just, study real hard.
that's a 4-track. It's crazy that that's a 4-track.
You're so welcome.
What are your drives? What are your drives that get you XP?
The things that keep me going. Solve problems in ardent settlements.
Okay.
Solve problems of family members.
Really.
Okay.
And discover a hidden culture or enclave. Sorry, I couldn't read my own handwriting.
All right. What are your Myers? The things that depression, emotional damage.
The call of the undereaves grows strong. Sometimes I just want to swim in the trees.
Yeah, I get that too.
All right. What's next?
Outsiders are difficult to trust.
Okay.
You slip in and out of the various languages you know.
Oh no.
Okay, so Meyer you pick up when you mark the first box of your Meyer. Basically, I say it's a role-playing thing now, deal with it, incorporate it into the story, but nothing mechanically happens. If you mark 2, then any time that it would affect a roll, you roll the dice and throw out the high one.
Oh.
The
Get
highest.
depressed. That's
That's a
part
little
of the
rude.
lore.
Yeah. Do you have any salvage?
I do. I have high wood planks and a drinking horn.
High wood planks.
You've got booze and a drinking horn.
No.
No, I have wood. And
He was talking
water.
about the stuff for the animals.
Oh,
Do you have
yes.
any specimens?
I have firefly bulbs, or bulb. I don't know if
Bulbs.
it's one or
Bulbs.
Let's hope it's multiple.
Do you have any whispers?
I have 2 whispers. Grove of twisted trees and New Horizons. Animal Crossing, New Horizons.
New Horizons?
Yes.
You
Alright.
say the best.
Whispers don't. Okay, whispers are sort of like wild magic. They're living words that bounce around in your head, trying to get out until you say them, and when you say them, they're gone. Do you have any charts?
I have 1 chart, a many-folded chart.
Folded chart. All right, that's most of your character sheet. That is Petrichor, our ardent Horizoneer on the ship.
The next one.
All right, we're gonna go to Sean here next.
I'm very excited. We have not heard anything about each other's characters, so it's like a first introduction.
Sean, what's your character's name?
Charybdis. I will not.
Charybdis? That is so
I
awesome.
will not allow you to shorten it.
Alright.
It is not allowed.
Oh, Corey is definitely going to shorten it.
Corey and
And then I-
Kari? No. Charybdis, your bloodline is...
Ironbound.
You
I
are-
am both.
Yeah, you were
I
once...
am both.
You were once one of the ships, I think we kind of settled on the fact that you were once a ship that was specifically being used by a crew of Leviathan hunters.
Yeah.
And when the ship was abandoned and the crew was destroyed, eventually you sort of put yourself back together into a thing like the crew members and basically walked to the nearest settlement.
Finish
Dude.
the fight.
My ancestors were the people who rode on you as a ship. Just putting
Consider.
that thought out there.
Origin is anchored. Anchored is life is weird in Wildsea and life is strong. And sometimes when people die, their spirits don't go where they're supposed to. They just stick around, take over a different body, and keep going. Sometimes they don't even take over a different body. They just sort of walk around like ghosts and be solid all
So
the time.
basically,
So are you
I'm
ship spirit or are you dead person spirit in
Ship spirit.
ship spirit body?
ship spirit.
Sure.
I
Actually,
am ironbound square.
Le Shrug.
Shrug.
I am ironbound square.
An Ironbound is not a ghost. He is an Ironbound that is also a ghost.
Oh, pronouns?
Port and starboard.
Okay. Okay.
They them.
They them. Okay. They them for
Charybdis.
Charybdis. We should have a long discussion about how you came up with that name.
It's a
Try.
mythical monster and also a giant whirlpool.
It's a big hole that
That's so cool. I thought he was just bullshitting.
No,
I
it's a-
dive into a hole. I am named after a big hole.
And your post on the ship is hacker, which is not what it sounds like, because in most games, hacker would be computer hacking. In this case, it literally means hacking on plant life
I
and
hate trees.
and finding your way
Very
across
unfortunate.
the forest.
I
So
hate trees.
you
I
are good with the
hate
choppy
trees.
chop and the serrated edges and
We
all
don't
that
get,
kind of
we
stuff.
didn't go, we don't get along at first because I lived in a tree and he cuts down the tree.
it isn't that it cuts down. It isn't the trees aren't the problem. It's the plants that try to eat you the problem. What are your
really
edges?
rude.
What are your edges that you lean into for to give you bonuses?
Iron.
Iron,
Instinct.
which is a lot about being unmovable and tough.
I have one. Instinct.
And
Tide.
Hey.
We all
I also have sides.
yep, tides is a lot about tides is a lot about like feeling the rhythm of the world and figuring out secrets and
Understanding the sea.
understanding the sea of the Wildsea. All right, what skill? Sean, do you have brace?
One.
Do you have break?
No.
Do you have concoct?
No.
Do you have cook?
No.
Do you have delve?
No.
Do you have flourish?
No.
Do you have hack?
Yes, 3.5. It's in the job description. Literally first 4. Like, of course I have.
It's in your blood. Do you
Yeah.
have blood?
No.
No.
It's
I
actually-
have soul.
There's a really funny description about the spore scarf that you're talking about. It's like for those inhabitants of the Wildsea that rely on their lungs, and then there's like this 3-dot pause, and it's like, which actually isn't that many of them. The spore scarf is invaluable. Harvest.
Nope.
Really? You don't have harvest?
No. No. Well, is harvest good for me?
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not rethinking.
other people have harvest. It's fine. It's just you're hacking up plants. It would be useful to be able to like salvage stuff or like
Nope,
harvest stuff from.
I hate plants. I don't want to have to deal with them past killing them.
What about hunt?
No.
Well, this is
This
fascinating.
is, you helped me with
I know.
this.
I'm just thinking about how are you going to shoot the cannon if you don't have hunt?
I gotta close my eyes and pray.
Isn't that what we all do?
Okay,
In the
outwit,
Nope.
rap. Do you have any skills?
Have skills?
I have. Okay.
All right.
I've got 1 in rat.
All right, rattle, which is repairing stuff.
Yes.
What about scavenge?
2 in scavenge.
Okay. What about sense?
1 in sense. 1 in sense.
Okay. What about study?
Nope.
What about sway?
Nope.
What about tend?
Nope.
What about vault?
Nope.
How about wave walk?
2 in wave block. Do you have skills? Look at this character sheet.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Same
8,
amount
9,
of
10.
like of
I just
sentences I do.
He has.
I didn't clump them together.
He put them in. He clumped them together. 'cause
I
he's
see.
got-
I'm a generalist and you're a maximalist.
Yes, kind of. All right, so let's talk about your languages.
I have 3 in low sour. I know that might come as a shock.
Everyone has the 3 in low sour, which is the common language. What else? What other ones do you have?
1 in Rockaspit because I was the boat where they did the hunting. 3 in Old Hand because talking is cringe. And 1 in Signaling because I was the boat that they used to signal. No, it was light.
It would be funny if signaling was a So you see what he got like a language and put like 3 into it. It's where a lot of his skills went.
I want to be over his hands up. It was fun part.
All right, hang on. All right, low sour, old hand signaling.
And Rockaspit.
I have
And
one
rockets.
for tracks.
Let's talk about your aspects. What's your first one?
Broadwood carapace. I resist serrated.
Wait,
Volt.
talk about what a broadwood carapace is.
My skin is made of wood.
All right.
I am wood.
I resist serrated volt citation and acid.
Serrated bolt with an asterisk.
Citation. Oh, that's one. And acid, and that is 3-track gear.
So he's resistant to that. All right, what's the next one you have as part of being a
Weirdo.
iron bound?
A cannon.
Ornate cannon mounted in your chest like Iron Man.
2-track gear.
Maru.
It deals long-range blast damage, and it increases impact while targeting a horde or swarm.
So it's a spread shotgun.
It's a spread shotgun this big around.
Oh, so it's a cannon.
It's literally an ornate cannon. It's called ornate
Can
cannon.
you not read?
Increased
It's
impact.
2 words.
No,
That's
sure,
right.
she can't read. Remember?
Damn.
And it's two
Yes.
tracks. All right. Broadwood carapace, an ornate cannon built into your body in some way, shape, or form.
Moving on.
As a ghost, as an anchored, what are your traits?
I've got an anchor.
What's it called?
Tempered anchor.
A tempered anchor, a particularly strong anchor to this world. In this case, your anchor is literally an anchor.
I just attach it to the boat and I jump off to face a Venus.
It gives him a trait, an aspect trait list.
Wow.
It gives him an aspect.
It's just 5 tracks.
Yeah, it gives him a 5-track. It's all it does is 5.
That's
5-track gear.
awesome.
All right, what's your other thing as part of the spirit, the anchored? What's it called?
By a thread, it is 1-track trait. 1. Singular.
It only takes 1 point of damage.
Oh, what is it?
I am immune to blunt, spike, and keen, but I am weak to salt and volt citation.
Spike and
Why is
sorry.
there always a citation next to volt damage?
Me.
All right, go.
Okay, so volt. I resist volt in Broadwood carapace, and I'm weak to it in by a thread, so it cancels out and I'm neutral.
Okay.
But we put it on there because Dad thinks we'll forget about it.
I just want to make sure that we know. So the only thing how this works out is his actual aspect track list. Like you two have more.
Actual tracks?
You have more points in tracks than he does. You have like a 21 track. She has 20. He has like 17. Okay, but he's a big tough guy. Why is that? Because he takes 2 points less damage from serrated damage. He takes 2 points less damage from acid damage. He is completely immune to blunt damage, spike damage, and keen damage.
They're very...
So the really, really common damage types, he takes nothing from or takes very little from. So he doesn't have as many hit points, but his armor is much better. What's your next aspect? Come on.
Jagsuri.
Jagsari.
Yes, it is a 3-track gear, and that deals close quarters hewing or serrated. I have a chainsaw.
Close quarters what?
Hewing or serrated. I have a chainsaw.
You said it was a 3-track?
Yes, 3-track gear. Oh,
And-
by the thread is a trait button.
Yeah.
And Wild Harvest, which is, again, a 3-track trait this time.
Uh-huh.
And I treat conflicts as triumphs when attacking or defending against plants. Because I hate plants.
I'm going to make a suggestion on your skills. Let's drop your scavenge to 1 and put 1 point in harvest.
Alright.
I think that'll work out well for you. Harvest is also knowledge of the plants and stuff like that, and that'll help more with when you're doing knowledge rolls and stuff. Okay. What are your drives, Sean? What are the things that will earn you milestones?
Free a shackled ship construct.
Free a shackled ship construct. Okay?
Send other spirits to a peaceful rest.
To a peaceful rest. So
And
free a shackled ship construct, send other spirits to a peaceful rest, and
survive a Leviathan plant encounter.
Oh, let's go. That's gonna be sick.
I hate plants.
I don't like the.
his last aspect that he has is the thing where you can treat conflicts as triumphs when you're dealing with animals and trying to drive them off and stuff like that. He has the same thing, treat conflicts as triumphs when he's either attacking or defending against plant creatures.
Very cool.
I hate plants.
All right, what are your 3 Myers?
The world away from the waves is quiet and distant.
Okay, next one.
Visions of my past
All right,
I mean, you did
visions of my death, what?
are of my past death. ORE difficult to banish.
Visions of my past death are difficult to banish.
Yeah. And the waves call for me to dive deeper.
Call for me to dive deeper.
Technically,
Finally, what salvage do you have?
diffused shells, likely from the cannon. And
Well, it could also be shells off the ship.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about in a second. All right, what else?
and abandoned scrap.
Scrap.
You
All
said
right. Do you have any specimens?
a spectral flower, which I can only assume is growing on my body in glowing blue.
That's pretty cool. Do you have any whispers?
Woken to thought and an iron root falling.
Oh,
I
bad
hate
ass shit.
plants.
Woken to thought is pretty sick. Charts?
A sketch of shadowed paths, which is vague.
Well, it's just a chart. It's a way to help you map stuff, so it's fine. All right, that's all the stuff that we have for Charybdis.
Eula!
Me.
Random moth.
And finally, we get to Zoe's character,
Yay.
whose name is
Saturday. Shut up.
Saturnidays. You all have, everybody has weird names in this. You are a Mothrin.
Yeah.
Moth critter.
Mothram.
And then that's where
So we have, I should get down here and actually show a picture. The Ironbound kind of looks robotic or shippy or whatever. Let's get down here. The Mothrins are literally human-sized moths. Short-lived, but potentially living many lives that they vaguely remember, like the Doctor.
Or,
Or Dave from Kipo.
Yeah, but Dave remembers all of it.
All right, so let's get back over here and let's talk about your character. You are a Mothrin. What is your origin?
My origin is a shankling.
A Shankling. Shankling is somebody who grew up on some of the truly tall shank trees that jut far above the rest of the forest, and they live up high, well above the waves, at a level that would make other people get a little bit get queasy and vertigo, but they just think it's pretty much normal, and they're used to big high ropes and stuff like that. They're not afraid of heights. They just deal with it better. And your post is?
My post is a navigator.
Love
So,
Navigator.
I work navigating around.
The other thing that Shanklings are also known for is being kind of flamboyant in the way that they dress, which is, I think, is kind of fun.
Bird.
And Navigator is exactly what it sounds like and exactly kind of explains the role in the ship. What are your edges, Zoe?
Grace.
Grace?
Sharps.
Sharps? That's new. We haven't seen that before.
Uh-huh.
Sharps is the kind of thing where I'm going to solve this complicated problem by cutting through it, except mentally.
Why did I? Oh,
And finally,
Guys, guess what? I have tides.
that's wild.
everybody has
Really?
that.
She
Everybody
has-
wants to
oh my
understand the
God.
waves, man. All right, skills. Let's talk about some skills. Zoe, do you have brace?
No.
Do you have break?
No.
Do you have concoct?
No.
Do you have cook?
2.
You have a 2 in
Oh
cook?
my god, we have a chef on board.
Let him cook.
A char, technically, but sure. Do you have delve?
No.
Do you have flourish?
2.
2 in flourish. You are fancy. You do fancy moves.
Shit.
Do you have hack?
No.
Do you have harvest?
2.
You have a 2 in harvest. Excellent. So between the way that the ship chews up the tops of the trees and the way that Sean chews up the tops of the trees, you guys should be able to like she just follows in your wake, picking up like discarded fruit. Do you have hunt?
No.
Do you have outwit?
No.
Do you have rattle?
No.
Do you have scavenge?
No.
Do you have sense?
Do you have skills?
Yes.
They literally did that to me.
What's that? Do you have sense?
1.
1. Do you have study?
2.
2. Do you have sway?
No.
Do you have tend?
No.
Do you have vault?
2.
2. She has a lot of stuff at a pretty
Does
good.
you have wave walk?
No.
Sean has wave walk.
I literally just hang off the side of the ship.
He's the one that will jump off the ship into the branches to fight the thing.
Especially if
And I will sit on the ship and go.
what?
Like, drug it.
And if it's a long range thing, he's got his cannon. We should still. I want to revisit the cannon. I just want to, not right now, but I want to talk some more about the cannon because if you're going to be leaping into melee, you may be able to get a trait that feeds better into that.
Oh my god.
I mean, have you ever been smacked in the face with a cannon?
We have
It would
reworked
probably hurt.
the character 2 times now.
I do want to eat them, just not the ones that are weird.
Okay, so let's talk about your aspects, Zoe. What are your aspects? As a Mothran, what's
As a Mothran, we didn't do our languages.
your oh right, we didn't do your languages. Let's do your languages. What do you got? You got old. You got
Low sour. Low
old,
sour.
low sour. I keep wanting to say old sour. Low sour.
3.
Yep, everybody has a 3. All right, what's the next one?
Old hand 2.
2. What's the next one?
Signaling 1.
Did anybody get knock?
Nope.
Knock is interesting. You should read the description for it. It's actually sort of 3 different languages. There's a spoken aspect to it. There's a body language aspect to it, and there's like a tapping, almost Morse code, like chittering finger tapping. And people who are fluent in it switch back and forth sort of interchangeably. You can say anything in any of 3 of these channels, or you can provide color for the various channels with stuff from the other channels. It's a really interesting language.
Yeah,
Anyway,
the jittering bit is meant to represent the mandibles.
yeah,
because
because fighters.
celebrate.
Signaling at 1. Did you have any other languages?
Hyven.
Oh, Hyven.
What's a hyphen?
It is.
Hyven
It is a
and-
writ. It's okay. Sure.
Explain. Hyven.
Is that 1?
Yes, 1. Hyven is, in the description that I remember, Hyven is basically being able to read, understand old, ancient glyphs, sort of.
Pre-written language.
Pre-written written languages.
Written language.
Written language. All right. Is that the only thing you had after
That
Hyven?
is the last.
Yeah.
Hyven is
So she can read like stuff on like old runes and things like
kind
that.
of like Senshi.
Speak to your aspects.
My first aspect for the Mothran is elegant wings. So instead of normally Mothran have
Tattered wings.
tattered old non-breaking wings. I have elegant wings, which means I can actually use my wings to fly.
God.
What?
You can glide, but you can also mark the aspect to fly elegant. Fly.
Elegant.
Mark.
Glide elegantly.
Mark
track
to fly elegantly for a short time. Well, how many points is in that aspect?
It's 3-track.
It's a 3-track.
I
Trait.
think.
Should be 3.
3-track trait.
Yeah, I don't know if that was what I
No,
was trying to
this-
calculate.
What's left is what you have. Yes.
Okay, so the empty spots is the tracks.
Yep.
Okay.
And also, there's a number at the bottom of the aspect.
Because I
That
thought it was just amazing, and I could do 5 tracks. Mostly 5 tracks.
No, 5-track is like godly because there's like 5. It's just
things with 5-track don't, generally speaking, give you any abilities because they're just remarkable for giving you a 5-track at all.
And then my second one for Mothran is chaos dancing.
What?
Chaos dancing.
I have
Chaos dancing or
most
chaos dance?
dancing. It's a trait, 3-track trait, and deals close quarter, keen, and or spike damage.
oh, it's an attack.
So you fly into somebody's face at 3 a.m.
It's Mothran martial arts based on slashing wings and kicks.
Oh, that's so cool.
Close quarters, keen
Or spike damage.
or spike damage.
You break dance off.
You slash. It's the keen is the edge of the wings. The spike is the points of their feet.
Yo.
You break dance, and they just happen to be within
Uh,
cool spin range.
what's the how many points in the track?
3.
3. All right.
Free track train.
She had this other one that she could pick up that would have also given her like ridiculous defenses in hand-to-hand. Like she actually could have been like an absolute badass in hand-to-hand. It would have been really funny.
Yeah, but
She still is good at hand-to-hand, but yeah, you're gonna look at it and go, oh look, a delicate Mothra with pretty wings. She's probably not that big. Oh my god, why am I bleeding? Next
The eyes! The eyes! Protect your eyes! They're in the corner of my room!
Alright.
So for my origin,
What do you think about
my Shankling origin, my first one is Hawksight. The other thing that wrote down is Seafar. I can see good. That's all you wrote. It's 4-track trait.
Hawksight.
Hawksight. One word.
Alright. And what's the other one that you got is
So I have a bark peeling ferret.
Oh my god.
Bark peeling ferret. What's his name?
I think Polly. Polly. Polly.
Ollie the ferret.
Oh, that's
Alright, what does the bark peeling ferret do?
Mark or use a task to gain an insect specimen. It brings me bugs.
cool.
one
Yeah,
brings
pet
you
weevil.
that thing, one brings you bug.
Yeah. The bugs, they're good protein.
There.
They go in the soup.
Delicious.
So what's interesting about that is you mark your fox. You put a little mark on the track to be able to get this thing. She can do that, but she can also, during a montage, basically like we're going to go around the table, everybody show me what you're doing over the course of the next couple of days. She can just say, my task is I'm going to have my bark
Peeling ferret.
peeling ferret bring me an insect. And like that's her.
That's cool.
She can just use it as her task that she
I
does.
wish I could do that.
That's pretty cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. How many points in the aspect? How long is the track?
4-point companion.
4-point companion. That is a tough little ferret.
Damn.
All right. What's next?
My navigator aspects. First one, Gale Flute. I can play it to bring me favorable winds, which basically means I can get high up in the air by playing my flute.
Why is she 16 feet in the air?
That's actually really cool because you can only the only thing she can do reliably with her wings without marking them is glide, but she can give herself the kind of wind to let her glide. So between playing herself into the air, being able to glide basically indefinitely, and Hawksight,
You're a pretty formidable foe.
she's like it's like having a camera drone for the ship.
And also the observation deck.
Yes. I think we didn't end up being able to pay for that. We'll talk about it. I don't remember. Don't give me that look. We got foxes. You have a whole swarm of foxes around the whole damn deck. Shh. All right. How many?
Crow's nest.
Well, there's still a crow's nest.
Where do you have a crow's nest?
Observation
I am your observation
Really?
deck.
All right. Gale Flute is what's the points?
3-track gear.
All right. And what is the last thing you got as part of being a navigator?
Cartographica.
What?
Cartographic. How did we
It's like a
spell that?
graphic novel about making maps.
Here's the thing. The entire skill is I can make maps.
Well, that's actually pretty
Is it market or?
I don't know. You
Yeah,
can't
we
write
didn't-
anything
I
down.
gave up and did. Okay, hang on. Let me go back and look at it. It is
Damn, the shade on that. I don't know. You didn't write anything down.
Yeah,
a
you
map maker's ordinator. Use a task. Again, this is something she can do during a montage to create a rare resource chart of the rustling waves. So
Damn.
basically, in every montage, she can go like, "Do I need bug or do I need new map, or do I need
want to dance?
or do I need to heal?"
Or do I dance?
Shipwide breakdancing contest.
You're cheating when your wings change colors.
Sure.
I mastered the maracas for this.
I trip on my cannon every time.
It's that damn cannon.
All right. Well, how many points is in that? What? How long is that track?
3-track gear.
All right. What are your drives, Zoe?
What drives you?
Come on. What's the first one?
Solve baffling problems with style.
Baffling problems with style.
Style.
The language on that.
What's
is
the next one?
majestic.
Establish a high port.
A what?
I build a city
Oh,
on
cool.
the trees.
Slay.
one of her-
Build a sky-
One of her drives is to build a
City,
is
sort of
to
like
is
the one I grew
create a
up in.
settlement.
Build a skyscraper.
The sky tree.
All right.
Just a regular radio tower.
And
Great.
finally, your last drive, which again, swinging for the fence on this one.
Have an island named after me.
Incredible. Bombastic side-eye.
All right. Meyer.
Your elegance evaporates, leaving you clumsy.
No. Elegance.
No.
I can't win the breakdancing contest when I'm under stress.
No.
All right, what's
What?
next? What? Shh. Zoe, what's your second one?
The opposite of vertigo. Deck level queasiness. I
You
get
get queasy on the
That's
ground.
awesome.
You get queasy on the
I need to be high up. I need to be high up.
Yeah.
Gets me in the ropes.
Liv. What's the next one?
You're tongue-tied when trying to relay important information.
That seems bad. Guys, is it hot here? Oh, I'm sweating so bad.
You know what? You want to talk about shade? She's like, I was reading these off as one of the options, and she's like, so me.
All of our characters are just literally me, except for Kaylee's part about being really buff.
No, it was just Zoe was saying it was her. All right. So
I'm sorry.
what was that?
I'm sorry.
He said all of our characters are basically just me, except for Kaylee's character about being really buff. He's so mean.
All right.
All of the art
Salvage.
automatically.
What kind of salvage have you got, Zoe?
Ancient stones. I got it rocks.
Yeah, she literally she had all this cool salvage, all this cool stuff that she could pick, and she picked ancient stone. And I'm like, why do you need an ancient? She goes, I want a rock.
I want to rock.
I want a rock. Specimens.
It's my special rock.
What are your specimens, Zoe?
Crowning leaf and glowing mushrooms.
Mushroom.
I am so unsurprised by that.
Crowning leaf.
Glowing mushrooms.
That sounds like the start of the Crouching Tiger Hidden Dragon sequel.
Charts.
Painted wing scale.
Painted wing scale.
Do you have no whispers?
I'm getting to the whispers. I wanted to save them for last because they're sick as hell. What is your first whisper?
Vibrant riot.
Vibrant Riot! That's so awesome!
And what was the last one?
A spit on the rise.
A spit on the rise?
It's a temporary island.
Spit is the word for like a temporary island. And
Hey, that goes great with New Horizons. What can I say?
and
you know that-
rising up out of the trees and
Guys,
stuff.
it's like we're made for each other.
Indeed.
A rising spit, and suddenly you can see.
And
behind
now-
the
And now finally, we will talk about the ship that I am finally revealing up here on the screen. Now, normally, I say normally, when you talk about ships in this game, you
They
talk about
look like ships.
they look like ships. Let me get down here.
Ours doesn't.
Let's get down here into the Wildsea stuff just a little bit further here, if I can get.
Where did this joke even come from?
What joke?
The I'm thinking crab joke.
I
we were ordering something.
I was explaining the carcinogenesis, the fact that like
Oh yeah!
five or six different times in wildly different times in the evolutionary chain of the planet, different species have gone and basically ended up evolving into crabs because it's a really good way to solve evolution's challenges. And the joke that somebody made, basically is that whenever given room to make a new critter, evolution kind of looks at the problem and goes, I'm thinking crab. And it became a joke for us. And guys, the thing that I think is weird about this, or funny, or cool, or whatever, about the ship that you guys did is you guys never stopped. There was no point where you guys looked at each other and said, we should make a ship that's themed to look like a crab. Nobody ever said that. It's just that when you were answering questions about your ship, you just kept saying, well, if we did this, it would be crab-like. And you just kept doing that until you ended up with basically Howl's Moving Castle on top of a fucking hermit crab the size of a house. The general vibe of most of the ships many of the ships in Wildsea, and there are ships that are pulled by creatures or on the back of creatures and stuff. You can certainly do that, but generally speaking, the vibe for a lot of the ships is basically what if Chainsaw
On boat.
and they chew their way across the thing. You guys came up with, again,
Legs.
somewhere in there where we were talking about crabs and stuff. Kelly was like, but what if it were a hermit crab inside, and it wore our house like its shell? And that's where we ended up with this sort of Howl's Moving Castle studio.
Howl's Moving Crab.
Howl's Moving Castle Studio Ghibli-esque thing.
Moving Crab.
I went digging around here. If you guys flip back over to Roll20, I went back over here and managed to put together some images for some of the rooms.
Oh, those look
So
awesome.
here we have we got a kitchen.
Kitchen.
Pretty
Where I can
sick.
cook.
Where you can
Let me
cook. And I love the window and the leaves outside and all that kind of good. Because there's
There's moss and stuff like growing on them, you know.
yeah.
You know, for ingredients.
Here we have maybe a navigation type chamber.
It
Oh,
sends
very cool.
it sends messages. It sends messages.
Oh, you
To the
freaking! You
crowd.
got rid of my observation deck for your navigation room. I see.
No, I didn't. There is no I'm just saying the navigator probably works somewhere. A general quarters sort of room,
Yeah,
Where somebody's at?
galley.
I sleep on the floor.
and then
Alright, Zoe sleeps hanging upside down.
No,
another sort of general quarters room, which eventually will actually render here and stop being pixelated. I don't know why it's like there we go.
Oh, we could see it
Okay.
way before that.
You're
so.
just
Okay.
bad.
So anyway, there's a lot of the sort of the vibes and stuff. Various rooms, get a general idea of what it's like in the thing as the crab is walking across the open waves.
I'll
Right.
be your observation deck.
I'll observe.
Speaking of looking at what the crab has, a lot of what you pick as you're going through and picking stuff, it gives you stats. Where's the sheet? I never did finish doing this thing up. So the crab has. We did some of this stuff a little bit weird. So the ship is small, which is to say it easily fits 3 to 5 people. It can fit twice as many. I don't know if you guys didn't end up spending any points on undercrew or anything like that. The frame of the ship was determined to be flexible because
It's a
it's
crab.
bendy and segmented and stuff like that. And that gives us a bonus to
Crabbing.
its tilt. The
Yeah,
tilt rating.
we have so much tilt.
We
We
really
are
do.
tilted.
The hull of the ship is 2. You have 2 different hulls, one of which is Arachnesque,
I thought you were just talking about the country. And I was
and the other one is Beastback. So those 2 things combined give you a total of an additional 2 points of tilt and +1 to your seals, which is how well protected you are from the spores and stuff, and a bonus to your stealth, +1 stealth. Bite, which is the way that you how do you progress through the
we skitter
through the waves. So footnote on this one is what we ended up picking was navipede limbs, and the idea that the legs are pulling along really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. It's totally fine. One of the other ways that you can do the motion, and what it gives you is a +1 to your tilt again, and a +1 to stealth because they move along really quickly and skittery scat, right?
Yeah.
One of the other ways that you can do sort of the same thing is, I can't remember what it's called, but there's another, actually I can look really quick to see what it's called. And it was, so we were size, small, frame, flexible, hull was beastback, and also Arachnesque. But it's weird because it's only letting me pick one or the other. And the bite, one of the other ways you could do it was crawler. And that's like slower, thicker limbs.
Okay.
So instead of doing spike damage, they do blunt damage and you don't get stealth. But it only costs 1 point instead of 2 points in terms of the stakes that you have in the ship. So you could do something else.
When we were originally looking at it, I did look at that, but we decided on arachnid for the extra bonuses.
It wasn't the arachnid, it was the navipede limb.
Sorry, yeah, the navipede limbs. But I'm fine with switching it because I was good with that.
And you get
originally,
another
so.
extra point for your navigation deck.
Oh, your it's my navigation deck. It's your navigation.
No,
deck.
observation deck. Don't
Oh, observation decks. She said navigation. I'm not defensive. It's fine.
And then the engine is, what we picked was pulsing cocoon, but basically it's just the fact that the crab is its own fuel source, and it's fueled with the dreams of the crew. It is a dream-eating crab that carries your house on its back. It is the most fairy tale fucked up thing I've ever heard of, and I love it more than life itself.
So good.
It's amazing.
I love it so much. It's so.
I don't. Are we doing the actual crab ship is the dream eating crab, or is there another crab?
I think it's the actual crab ship. because I like that and I think it's
Also, why would there be 2 crabs?
I just
Because-
think it's neat.
Sean, I'm always thinking.
Because
Crustaceans
when
on
she
my
gets
mind.
the opportunity, she will always take more crabs over less. crabs.
Where's the ship stuff? Ship base,
The ship what?
where's, like, ship, is it 70 something?
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the stuff about the ship, like, is it...
What page it is in the manual, I think, is what he's saying.
If you go to Roll20, I just popped it up on everybody's thing. Oh, where is it in the book? I see what you're asking.
Yes.
The bite is on page 170. The common bite, we were looking at crawler. I was just talking about crawler. Large finger-like mechanisms spread out around the front of the ship, allowing it to move through the waves with a crawling motion. You still get the same tilt. It does blunt damage instead of spike, and you don't get the extra point of stealth. But it only costs 1 stake instead of 2 stakes, which is what the Navipede legs take, and that would give you a point of stake back for other stuff if you want. It's entirely up to you.
I think we should save it for Kelly's whatever.
My observation. It'll be important later, guys, I promise.
Won't be on the ship app.
We still have observation deck on here. Will you just?
I know, I'm
No,
being
we
a
have to
nerd.
rename it. It's the observation station.
You're just really attached to this whole station idea.
We're at station.
Okay, we're naming it the
Wait, hang on. Shh.
Queen Crab's Revenge.
Two,
The Queen Crab's Revenge.
two,
Yeah.
Queen
three, four.
Anne's Revenge was Blackbeard's ship.
I'm putting in the extra stuff here. You did right now. I have observation deck, observation platform is what it is. A strut-like protuberance, giving an unparalleled view of the surrounding waves, usually with some kind of line of communication back to the pilot's cabin. It may not be necessary given what Zoe's character can do. Yeah. Spring foxes. Spring foxes. A pod of spring foxes that dance and leap through the waves around your ship as you travel. Their behavior can warn of dangers from deeper canopy.
They're all named.
Viper's Tooth is
Acid gun.
an unstable weapon that fires corrosive liquid and deals massive, long-range acid damage.
It's the crab's saliva.
Well, it's the crab's stomach acid, actually. You don't want to know what I have to go
As
through
I would
every
say,
week to
I would
get it.
point out that while you're on the ship, you already have a long-range way of engaging people because you have that. I know. I'm just saying. Options there. Rig ropes, which is particularly useful because several of you guys have vault.
Except for me, apparently. What's
Yeah,
one
but
used for again?
rig ropes are still useful for you to get you back up out of the tree.
It's for like acrobatics.
Rig ropes.
Stop wave.
Yeah, acrobatics and nimbleness and
Hey, what's
gymnastics.
your vault?
Rig ropes are strung around the deck for various purposes, often climbed, used as safety lines for trips over the edge of the ship, or hung with drying clothes. Firefly lanterns, always useful to have some light.
Damn lanterns.
A network of lanterns with glowing inhabitants woken or sent to sleep with a tap on the glass, ready to illuminate any part of the ship.
In a minute.
An anchor system, which comes standard links of chain with heavy curved hooks used to anchor ships to the branches of the Wildsea. Almost every ship has this. And that brings, including you. Now that right now, with the Navipede limbs, brings your stakes to 15, which is how many points you currently have. At this point, you have an armor rating of 2, a seal rating of 2, a speed rating of 2, saws of 1, which is using your motive power to attack. It's not the dice that you roll with the Viper gun. That's just you rolling hunt. Stealth of 3 and
Yeah.
tilt of
74.
5.
What?
Which is
We can.
Michael
The
Jackson.
crab participates in the crew breakdancing contest.
so if we now what we don't have is we don't have a galley.
Okay.
And we have a cook. What are some other things that we could also get here? I'm gonna pull up galley real quick for you. Galley is a space for gathering, cooking, eating, filled with pans, cookware, and usually chemical. It isn't to say you don't have a galley. You don't have a good galley. Okay.
Yeah.
And it can be really useful to point and say, this is where we're going to render down all of the fruit and animal parts and bits and bobs and stuff like that and do stuff. Workshop, probably cluttered room with smithing and repair tools as well as mechanical workbench. Probably not necessary. I think a galley would be cool. It doesn't do anything for you except to give you that cool galley vibe. And so what would happen to your stats if you switched the Navipede legs to the Thongers, the big stumpy legs, is your tilt stays the same, your stealth drops by 1. That's literally it.
I mean,
And you
there's
already
not
have
really anything super stealthy about a giant fucking crab, but, you know, if that's a necessary thing.
You still have
for
a stealth
us-
of 2. That doesn't make it bad by any stretch of the imagination. And you don't have a motor, and you're not chewing through the branches like a.
Oh,
frickin'
our
chick.
stealth is a 2?
Your stealth is a 2. No, listen. Look at me. Your stealth is a 3. It would be a 2 if you downgraded.
Oh, yeah, let's downgrade.
Yeah.
Okay, so we go from Navipede limbs to Crawler.
Farmer.
It does CQ blunt damage. And that still gives you... Now, do you want... Here's the thing. Do you need the observation platform?
Yes.
No, we don't need it.
The only thing that really leaps out at me would be a fruit-bearing tree that actually grows on your deck.
Mm-hmm.
And what that lets you do, automatically acquire a fruit-based specimen when you use a task to tend to the fruiting tree. So if you do like a montage, and it's like, what are you doing during your montage? Like, I'm going to go pick fruit off the tree. And you just get a specimen in your inventory of that you can then use to cook stuff with or make.
very
Or it could be medicinal. You could use it for tend.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so there's that could be a thing that you guys have. Is like an actual growing tree on the ship. What do you guys think? That would be the only thing I can think of. Otherwise, you just leave it the way it is with the
I mean,
galley.
do we not have a Oh, wait, we do have a galley. Sorry,
This would be with the galley.
That would be neat.
Yeah, that might be cool.
Well, this would be like, do you want to do the tree instead of the observation platform? Is what I'm saying.
Oh, well,
If you want the observation platform,
I
take it.
kind of want my platform.
Listen.
I don't know why I'm so attached to it.
Everything about everything about the Wildsea in general is vibes, ladies and gentlemen, legitimately. And if you look at the picture of that crab, there's a lovely little patio up there at the very top, a lovely little deck all the way up at the top.
Just think of the emotional moments that we could have together
Incidentally,
out there.
there's a short-range radio expansion that you guys should totally look into because it looks like there's freaking antennas on the top of this thing. But that's something for a different time. Anyway, the crab. It's quite late. So in the settlement of Three Masks, okay?
There's 3 masks.
In the settlement of Three Masks, it's a settlement called Three Masks.
Who would have guessed?
In the settlement of Three Masks, there is a cartography shop, okay? It's a relatively small building with a very, very large person who lives inside. Overlook House is a home to all the maps and charts that the town of Three Masks has collected from surveys and visitors over the years. And it is a town that specializes in books and charts, okay? It is run by Old Spar Lisbeth, a local cartographer, from her huge desk. She is an ironbound. She is enormous. What's your relationship with her?
Childhood best friend.
What?
A childhood.
Do you know her in this life or do you know her from a past life? Past life?
2 lives.
2 lives ago. You know her from... Can you speak up so the mic actually picks you up?
2 lives ago.
So you've never been to Three Masks, but
You have also been to Three
one of your
I've never been to 3 masks.
one of your
But I did.
reputations has been there and knows that there is a cartography shop there that's a very exciting place to go.
That is so depressing in the best way.
There's a bar / pub / post office / library
Yeah.
in town called Pulaski's.
Yeah, he had post
Yeah, definitely. Put a bar, a library.
Yeah, had me at post office.
Thank God, I love me a good post office.
Haley, what is your relationship with Pulaski?
The guy who runs the bar?
The guy who runs the whole place.
Tell me a bit about him so I have some context. Ex-boyfriend.
Oh dear.
But in a good way. We were just kind of, grew up same ship we were on for a little bit. You know, his dad
But he
was
doesn't
on.
sail anymore?
No, because it was his dad's ship. So his dad was like, you know, helping run like the brewery on the ship. And then him and the captain had a falling out or something. And so he opened the bar. He moved his workplace and set up a bar on one of the islands. And so he took over his dad's business when his dad retired. So like we were like 14 and it was less of a relationship and more of a, oh, you're the only other person here my age. Would you like to try a smooch? And that was really all it was. So we still have
you
like
considered
a good
stalking?
relationship. Yeah, we still have like a good relationship. It's just, you know, technically he's my ex-boyfriend.
There's a picture of Pulaski's in Roll20.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Visiting
Um,
post office, I love mail, specifically other people's. Incredible feeling like no other crime.
There's the only other really notable place in town, Sean. Well, I shouldn't say the only notable place, but one of the most remarkable places in town is a place called the Shattered Socket. It's a smokehouse where people can go to actually smoke various types of tobacco. It has to be in a very controlled environment because fire will spread across the Wildsea. So it has to be in a very controlled environment. If you want to smoke a pipe, you've got to go to a specific place or risk
Mass disruption.
starting a apocalypse.
World War V.
I do not know with what weapons World War III will be fought with, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. Albert Einstein said that.
Turns out they do break bones.
There's a lot of them.
I think it's
There's a Celicrae named Cherik. He's
Jerry Tobag.
no Cherik Tochiaska. It's Zarek. It's TZ. Zarek Tochiaska, who hangs out at this smokehouse called the Broken Socket. He's a smuggler. How do you know that? Have you worked with him in the past? Your crew worked with him? Your old crew?
In certain settlements, living objects are very useful.
Okay. What do you mean living objects?
Like,
Are you saying he human trafficked you?
yes.
PG it. PG it.
How do I
He
PG?
smuggled you out of an area where you were being, like, he got you out of an area. But the thing is, he's not a nice guy. He's not like somebody who, he's not a smuggler with a heart of gold. He's a smuggler with a heart of 10,000 spiders.
Do any of the spiders have heart of gold?
Yeah.
Okay.
They all the ones with hearts of gold got voted out.
There were
So he did you a solid, but it cost you. What did it cost you? What does he have that used to be yours?
my body.
No.
I have a joke response, but I will need to think about the actual response.
I would look at like the aspects that you didn't take as an iron bound, and like he's got something of that, like something cool of yours that you don't have anymore, like the haunted sailcloth or.
What was your
I used
joke
to be
answer?
8 feet tall. Now I'm only 7.
He took your height.
A
No.
foot off me. Literally, he took a foot off of my height.
And I lost my foot.
What was I looking at? Oh, I had a tuning fork.
Ah, the tuning fork that gives you whispers when you encounter new cargo. A smuggler would fucking stab somebody for that. Absolutely.
Or, theoretically smuggle someone out of a city.
You've heard, Kaylee, a rumor of an ancient structure nearby that's somewhere near 3. Nobody's been able to find it, but there's a rumor of an ancient structure nearby. What have you heard about this ancient structure? It's a pre-verdant structure that's somehow here at the wave tops. What have you heard about it?
Dad will die.
What has the crew heard about it? If somebody else has it, say I'll take it and I'll give a different question to Kaylee if you have a cool thing.
Apparently, it's like it's very, what's the word? It's very intact, like it's preserved really well.
Oh, okay.
For some reason, the wilds doesn't seem to have disturbed the inside. So apparently, if you can find it and make your way inside, the inside is like pristine from the age it was from. So it's like everybody from in just got up and left.
Crazy. Love that. Three Masks, the Spit of Three Masks is famous for a literary festival. Sean, how do they celebrate?
That is so different.
Books are their thing. So, I'll tell you this for free. The seas around Three Masks
Are littered with sheets of paper.
are you find people literally go fishing for lost books and they will catch them and they will make a profit off it. One of their biggest resources that they trade at Three Masks is literally books and lost
Very
language.
cool.
Yeah. So literary festival.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
Oh, it's a writing contest?
Yes.
Oh, very cool.
I love it. A big writing and then they read. So there's like a reading.
Sorry, I'm just imagining Corey showing up with the smutty AO3 type beat fan fiction that she wrote kind of as a joke, but she also wants somebody to really like it. Like, she's reading it like it's a joke, but it's also, like, secretly it is her best work.
It's like, no, I'm just joking. Unless. But I'm just joking, and nobody should take this seriously. Unless.
It's like terrible writing, but it's also, in secret, the best work she can do.
Zoe,
Then I finished it.
Zoe, last question. As the crab is crawling over the oceans and you see three spits in the distance,
Three masks.
Three masks in the distance, one of the local insects is a particular delicacy. What's the insect, and how is it prepared that makes it so special?
It's ready.
It's ready.
Oh, you're asking me about Senchi stuff.
Yes, there's a particular insect in the area that is the way that it's prepared in this area is a delicacy. What's the insect and how is it prepared?
The insect is sort of like a cockroach.
Okay.
It looks
Like a roly-poly?
its looks are a mix of a roly-poly and a cockroach.
Okay.
It tastes like sweet apples if you cook it right.
How do you cook it right? What's the cooking it right?
You have to use
Smoke it, boil it, saute it in butter.
Whisper, come here.
You have to fry it in, like, with the burning of the leaves from the trees. Because otherwise it doesn't have the right, like, smoke to
You have
it.
to cook it
Crezerin.
You have to cook it in crezerin leaves?
Yeah, like, you have to, like, smoke it in crezerin leaves. Like, really
You
hard.
have to
For
smoke
those of
it
you
in-
who are watching and going, what the fuck are we talking about? The reason that the trees grow so fast and the leaves, like whatever, is they have so much life in them they grow really fast. The so much life in them thing is the fact that it's got this crezerin chemical in it that if you touch the leaves will literally burn you like acid, which makes the waves very dangerous. It also means that these chainsaw ships, as they're tearing their way through the trees, you can literally look behind you and watch the trees heal, repairing themselves in a chaotic way
If you
in your wake.
burn it, if you burn the crezerin leaves,
I would say, how about you like wrap it up in the crezerin leaves and then
Oh, it's, like, spicy. Because
like
it burns your mouth.
oh
Literally.
god! So you wrap it up in the thing and then so it's wrapped in the leaves.
sort of like
Oh my gosh, it's like eating rotten shark in Iceland. You have to, like, it's miserable. Everyone knows it's miserable.
I want it to actually be a delicacy. I
we
love the idea.
made spicy food again.
You can't tell me that rotten shark isn't a delicacy.
Okay, that's a challenge. That's not a delicacy. You take the beetle, you wrap it up in the crezerin. Does the crezerin cook the beetle?
Yeah.
So you don't even have to do anything else to it. You just wrap it in the crezerin.
wrap it in the crezerin.
And water, and just let the water soak through the leaves and cook the beetle.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm the professional cook. You don't have anything to cook, therefore I'm better than you.
Harsh.
The roast.
Oh wait, you have got to cook your mind.
Okay, she has cook it too.
If you just wrapped it in the crezerin, your mouth would burn from the inside out.
Sure. Okay.
You have to like, sort of like a barbecue. You have to flame it up really, and
Smoke it.
Yeah, smoke it. And once it gets really, really
Smoked like
up,
ham.
and once you get really,
Spicy ham.
really, really smoked up, the crezerin just sort of evaporates. Or
Oh, cool! And now we've got crezerin in the air.
It's not okay.
fizzles.
Listen, fugu is a delicacy. Literally, if you prepare that wrong, it will kill not only the person who eats it, but possibly the person who prepared it. The fact that this is dangerous just adds to the
We have literally created spicy food again.
It's a
smoked
mix of-
crezerin beetle. Hate it. Love it.
It's ready.
It's ready. You know,
And
honestly,
he's
I don't think
freedom.
we would get as much out of Wildsea if we hadn't been watching Delicious in Dungeon lately. I really don't. All right.
And like you unwrap it, you use the cresser and leaves it sort of like a wrapper because they're like big beetles.
When we
Holy.
no, I'm thinking like football size.
Oh!
Big beetles.
That's
family.
And you like unwrap the cresser and leaves, so it's sort of like a tinfoil wrapper on burritos.
I love it. I love this. This is great.
Thank you.
You're so good.
Oh, so like you
I'm gonna
smoke
see
it to the point where the leaves are no longer
Cresserin.
They're just going to be all
They're a little.
crunchy.
They're like, oh.
Like
You
dried
have to
out.
prepare it in a smokehouse.
You've smoked the grass. It would take weeks.
dangerous.
You're literally smoking
You're
like
hazmat suiting it up to check on your smoked resin.
yeah. There's going to be a smoke room for this, just for
You
smoke.
have
Okay,
to prepare it in a smokehouse.
we're gonna get to Three Masks next time. We're gonna spend some time at Three Masks. We're gonna find out what's going on at Three Masks and do that. We're gonna continue on with that and find out why everyone's so worried about a missing ship.
Kaylee, can you draw me smoked cresserin beetle?
I don't want to.
But can
Okay,
you?
well, you're not.
Theoretically, I could force myself to undergo the process, but I might never forgive you.
All right,
It
Okay,
looks
if
like
you're
a
not-
beetle wrapped in the bottom half is wrapped in leaves.
all right. Thank you
That's
all.
what I'm imagining.
This was
Maybe it's
lovely.
Like shiny.
We didn't actually play, but we got to introduce our characters and do a little bit of extra stuff, and I'm excited about this thing. Thank you for helping us prep up for Wildsea. We will get to the rest of Three Masks
I
next
think
time.
the only thing that we can really call this episode is I'm thinking crap.
I'm thinking crowd.